left you in our last episode, we were sitting around our very remote camp off the Nebezna Road at about 8:30 in the evening, having dinner, laughs, and good times, when these two lovely people, Ryan and Alex, just walk in out of nowhere. Well, it turns out they have a Dodge Ram 3500 with a large camper on it and hit a pothole in the muddy road, bounced, and ended up in the tundra in a ditch off the passenger side of the vehicle. They walked a couple of miles before they found our camp, hoping to find someone to give them a lift into town where they could find some help. Well, town is a difficult concept in this part of the world. Slana, 40 miles back out the Nebezna Road, isn't really much of a town. That leaves either Glen Allen, about 104 miles to the south, or Tok, about 98 miles to the north. Neither prospect seemed likely to get help at this time of night, so we suggested we all pile onto the 4Runner, since it's the only vehicle we have with a winch, and drive back to the truck and see what we could do. Well, sure enough, after driving down the road for a couple of miles, there was the truck with the passenger side in the ditch, and the lift jacks for the camper were buried into the tundra mud as well.
Okay. So we go here.
Jeff, being a fire department captain, has by far the most experience in rescue work and stepped right into the role of recovery lead.
Max tracks there. It's got a locker, 4-wheel drive, put it low. Put you where you're at there, but kind of cross you up a little bit so that we're pulling diagonal.
Jeff started digging out the front tire while everybody else started collecting rocks to put under the max tracks. While Richard was digging out the rear tire and getting the max tracks in place, Jeff and I started rigging up the towing line for winching the vehicle out of the ditch. Instead of the older soft shackle, Jeff preferred the brand new Dead Man off-road soft shackle I recently added to the recovery kit. All right, we were ready to give our winch recovery a try, but as I walked back to the 4Runner, I had one little reservation. That truck was really heavy, and my synthetic winch line was really old. And on top of that, I don't think I re-spooled the line under tension since the last time I used it. It'd been on my to-do list for a while, but you know how it goes. With the 4Runner in neutral, I started pulling on the winch, while Jeff gently worked the accelerator on the truck, and snap, the line broke. The old winch line was loose on the spool. Under tension, it dropped further down into the windings on the spool, got pinched and stuck, and ultimately snapped. It took us a while to pry out the pinched winch line, but eventually it came free, and Jeff tied the pieces of winch line together with a follow-through figure 8 knot, also known as a Flemish bend.
Are we having fun yet?
I think so. Too much fun. Ain't never had too much fun.
I like that style.
One of the good things about synthetic winch line is when it breaks, it tends to just fall on the ground and not fly back. But it never hurts to have a blanket. All right, with the winch line repaired, it's time to try and get this truck out of the ditch. Jeff and I worked together, my operating the winch and he working the accelerator and steering wheel, and we coordinated our efforts by staying in communication over ham radio.
Okay.
That got it part way. And although it looked like we were making progress, her passenger side still was just not coming out of that ditch. So we dug a little bit deeper under the max tracks and placed more rocks underneath both of them. And by the time that was done, it was past midnight and a new day, and we were feeling good this thing was going to come out of the ditch. The first pull got the front end out of the ditch, and then I retightened the winch line and eased back with the 4Runner and slowly pulled that rear end out of the ditch.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Right there, that's the man that made it happen right here.
Woohoo!
Hamilton, we did it. It's all you. What do you mean?
Teamwork.
It's teamwork. That was...
He knows now. I worked in HR. I have to say everything's teamwork now.
I'm middle management. I know what you mean. Okay.
This is the rut in the road that caused all of the need for a save. They were coming down the road, trying to avoid this rut in the road, and they slid off into this ditch. And they landed in the ditch, and that's what caused the need for recovery. And with everybody's ingenuity put together and good recovery equipment, they did it. Woohoo! So Alex and Ryan get to sleep in their camper for the night and continue on.
Did not know where we were going to sleep because we obviously could not get into the back. It was like, is one of us going to sleep on the driver's side and the other one in the back on the driver's side, just like leaning the other way?
I was just going to be in the corner crying the entire night. I don't know what you were
So these poor folks got their truck stuck. Hey, it happens. But we're sitting here doing the recovery. Ted's got his truck over here. 4Runner's kicking butt. What do we have here? Dead Man Off-Road Soft Shackle. Great product. Works wonderful. Even in the upper parts of the country. So not just the lower 48s. Alaska also. By Dead Man.
Of course, burying your wheels in tundra mud can cause a couple of other issues to show up.
So that right.
So Richard, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get rocks out of there?
Well, so we've got the caliper, the brake caliper right here. There's minimal clearance against the inside of the wheel here, so it's picked up some of this gravel in here and it's jammed up between the caliper and the wheel, and I want to get that.
Do you want me to reverse a little bit?
We just, let's see if we can get some of these little ones out of there first.
Take it from the top with some water.
Yeah.
All right, well, here we are. We're saved. They're back on the road.
Thank you so much.
Yay.
All right.
We would have been here all night.
Yeah.
And probably for the next 3 days. Who knows?
Yeah, and you would have died from blood loss.
Yeah.
On our way back to camp, I thought we'd been up too late and my eyes were playing tricks on me because I could have sworn I saw 3 copies of the same summits. But sure enough, the sun was projecting 3 different shadows up into the clouds. I'd never seen anything like that before. Later in the morning, after sleeping in just a little later than usual, everybody had the same idea to start the day with hash browns and sausage because we were going to hike out on a cool, cloudy morning and go visit a few mines a little ways down the road. The road came to a point where it really wasn't used much anymore, and we were in the mood for a hike, so we took off on foot.
To the Rambler Mine.
I did not hear the hold 6, please. I did not hear the preposition. I'm like, rises 3,700 feet. I don't think so.
Okay, how about this, Ted? There is an elevation gain of about 400 feet over a half a mile distance. Okay, good. Spectacular views of the Metasta and Nutzoten. I have not heard of the Nutzoten Mountains.
And with a doable 400 feet or so of elevation gain over half a mile, we took off for the Rambler Mine. After about half a mile, we got to the remains of the Rambler Mine, a small gold mining operation left over from the 1940s. Still a very interesting, fun little place to walk around. Let's check it out. Say what you might about this outhouse, but it has one of the most commanding views I've ever seen for an outhouse. Finishing up at the Rambler Mine, we made our way back down to the road to head to our next point of interest, the Nebezna Mine. Of course, no hike in Alaska would be complete without a reminder of our furry friends that also share the area with us. In 1925, Carl Whittam found a rich lode of gold on White Mountain that subsequently led to the development of the Nebezna Mine. At its height, between 40 to 70 workers were employed at the mine. The Nebezna Mine only operated for about 10 years, but recovered more than $1.8 million in gold before it was shut down in 1947 upon Whittam's death. The buildings in the foreground are just the processing facilities and offices. The actual mining happened way up on the mountainside at dizzying heights. I have no idea how they got the equipment up there to do the mining. Okay, we are right in the heart of the Nebezna Mine, or the ruins thereof. Man, this is, what an amazing spot. It's just like it was all just left here. And it's enough of an out-of-the-way trip that really hasn't been disturbed by a lot of people, to be honest. So what's left is just a lot of remnants. I'm gonna turn the camera around and give you a view here. It's just amazing. Look at all of the stuff that's around here. Look at all the wiring, insulators, wheels, tanks, And then, God, check out the gears. Look at this thing. It's huge. Absolutely huge. It's massive.
All right, you guys are always coming over to ask what we're cooking.
All right.
What are you guys cooking today?
Well, tonight we're going to be doing some miso soup with some onion, mushrooms, and carrots, and having that warm us up on this windy, chilly night, right?
Yes.
And then we're going to do this thing where I will show you in a moment. It's this grilled cheese. Oops, it's not that one. Give me a second. This is funny. Okay, here we go. So we're trying something new. I'm going to toast some bread, and then what you do is it's this grilled cheese, and so you grill it, and it's just this chunk of cheese that heats up, and then I'm going to put it on the bread.
Yum.
And, you know, with mustard and some baby lettuce.
That sounds
and
amazing.
bell pepper. And it should be good.
Sounds amazing.
We'll see how it is.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted.
Yep.
Chairs that are.
Oh, hi.
Hi, what did you have for dinner?
Well, my excellent chef, being Farah, did a great job. So she took peak refuel. I can't remember if it was
Beef pasta marinara.
beef pasta marinara, which peak is usually pretty good, but this one was a little bit off in the sense that it took a little bit longer for the meatballs to soften up. So it was probably a good, I think it was supposed to be 10 minutes and we were like 15 minutes and they're still a little on the chewy side. So kind of learning a little bit about different ones that we have. But then she sauced it up really nicely with some sauteed onions and mushrooms with garlic with
In a
some
white
olive oil.
wine sauce.
Oh, excuse me. I thought it was olive oil, but it's a white wine sauce. Mixed that together, put it on. We had some grated Parmesan we put in there. Very, very good. So now I'm doing dishes while she's behind the camera because this is my job when she cooks.
What did you guys have today? I didn't get anything. My plate is empty.
Bean and beef burritos with tomato, cilantro, and spinach and cheese and homemade refried beans.
Homemade beef. Airbnb beans.
Yes. Yeah, so
Yum yum.
it was delicious.
Ground beef with taco seasoning.
And the salsa was pretty good.
Awesome.
That salsa really good.
Yeah, this also is good.
It
I
was
like
so-
it almost better than the
It
Newman's.
was so terrible. My plate
Look at this plate.
is empty.
Oh, did I not feed you?
Well, good morning. It's another beautiful but chilly morning here in Alaska. It's about 39 degrees outside right now. If you if you ever come to Alaska, a couple of things I can recommend. Now, it is unseasonably cool, even for Alaska, at this point in June, but I'll tell you, these hand warmers, they're awesome. They make all the difference. Just, taking that chill off the hands when you stick them in your pocket. So, we've had a few things crop up in the last day or so. So yesterday, the day before yesterday, we rescued a pickup truck with a camper on it. And in the middle of doing that, the winch line on the 4Runner broke. And we were able to tie a figure-8 follow-through knot in the winch line and complete the process of pulling them out of the mud on the side of the road. And that worked just fine. But of course you can't spool the line back in with a figure-8 follow-through knot. So we cut that off. And then yesterday afternoon, we used a Factor 55 fast fib and got Starlink up and running because we couldn't quite remember all the details on how to fast fib a line that's broken in the middle, so joining two lines together. So it's essentially, if you use a fast fib to replace a broken line where it breaks near the hook, you just make a loop and then fit that together. But when it's the middle of the line, you have to do it twice. You do it once going that direction in the line and once going that direction in the line. I'm not going to get into all the details of that, but and with an older winch line, it's a little bit more difficult than it is with a brand new winch line, which is how you usually see it done on the YouTube demos. So it took 3 of us to milk the thing down and get it all done, but it worked, and the winch line is back in. It's just the winch line's really old anyway. I really need to replace it. In any case, we got that fixed. We got it spooled up good and tight, and so that's ready to go. The coffee is ready. I'll be back in a minute. So the other development we have, which isn't quite as good as fixing a winch line, is we were coming back. We had just started driving back from our hike yesterday, going out to the Nebezna mine, and I heard just felt this little crack and click in the steering wheel I've never felt before. It was ever so subtle, but there was this click when I turn the wheel slightly, and once in a while a click, and it's like, oh, that doesn't feel good. I don't know what's going on. When I took the car around for us to wind the winch line yesterday evening, Richard saw that the right front CV joint was throwing grease everywhere on the inside of the wheel, and it appears at a minimum I've got a torn boot on the front CV joint. I suspect that the whole right front CV joint is broken. And we're out here in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. The good news is I can get out of here. The bad news is I don't have 4-wheel drive anymore. So we don't need 4-wheel drive to get out of here, especially since, keeping our fingers crossed, it doesn't rain this morning. If the road's not too muddy and slippery, I don't have to really worry about pulling the trailer through all of that muck. It's not required to have 4-wheel drive to pull the trailer through lots of mud, but it just gives you a little more sense of confidence, let's put it that way, to have that extra traction. So we're going to drive back to Solana, which is where the National Park Visitor Center is. It just happens to have full 5G service there. So I can start making some calls to find out what we can do to get the front end here, get the CV joint fixed on the 4Runner. When we got into Anchorage a few weeks ago, I had called Toyota of Anchorage to see if they could do an oil change, and they were booked 3 weeks out. So I'm not holding high hopes up for the Toyota dealership, but we'll see what we can do. Got a couple other options we might try and see what happens. Hopefully, being a Gen 5 4Runner, where things really haven't significantly changed from 2010 on. This is a 2015. And there are a lot of Toyotas around in Alaska, a lot of Toyotas. So I'm hoping at least the CV joint and axle are in stock. So that's the update on that. And I guess we'll know more about how this trip is going to progress in the next day or two. So just thought I'd update you on all that. In the meantime, it's time to finish coffee, get packed up, and head out to Solana so we can get on the phone. We'll talk to you later this morning.
Check into our next Alaska episode when we take to the sky, try to get the front axle fixed, and we reluctantly say goodbye to our great friends who joined us for 2 amazing weeks in Alaska, right here on Adventure Beyond 60.